You're listening to episode 32 of the Decorate Like a Design Boss podcast. And today I have a special treat for you. We're talking about my favorite subject, and that is color, and specifically color therapy and how to use color in your home for healing. Now, this one is going to be great. I have a special guest here that I can't wait to tell you all about. This episode is going to be magical.
Welcome to Decorate Like a Design Boss, a podcast for design lovers who want to create beautiful spaces in their very own homes. My name is Kimberly Grigg, and I'm a professional interior designer who teaches design lovers like yourselves how to decorate. And when I say decorate, I mean decorate like a design boss. If you're ready to create a space that your family loves and your neighbors can't stop raving about, well, buckle up, honey, because it's time to design.
Well, hello there, my friends and design lovers. I can hardly wait to bring you today's episode. But before we get started, I want to remind you of a new offering that we just released. We've created tiers in our Interior Design Insiders Club membership, and now you can join at the level that seems just right for you. By popular demand, there are now 3 different tiers or levels, and I'll bet one of them is just right for your design needs. This club is so vibrant and robust and is filled with interior design lovers who are longing for information and confidence to create and decorate their own spaces. You get so many goodies in this club, including over 100 hours of video training. And now you even get a private consultation with me. You'll want to check it out at KimberlyGriggDesigns.com. I'd love to welcome you into our very special and private Interior Design Insiders Club. This is the place where you learn to become your own interior designer. And now let's get on with this episode. I am welcoming Walaa with Wallace Colorways. She is a certified color therapist, author, and qualified interior designer, mentoring women and entrepreneurs to find renewed confidence. Also, a strong sense of purpose and a better life balance. As an intuitive color healer and trained in interior design, Walaa has developed a unique 5 modality system for harnessing energy to develop emotional fluidity. I can't wait to learn what this is all about. She uses a combination of color frequency, crystal sound healing, body release movement, mental reprogramming, and breath work in one-on-one sessions, group sessions, and workshops to help release blockages. Through her sessions, Walaa encourages women to spiritually and emotionally evolve, giving as much support as they need to move beyond fear, exit toxic relationships, develop a strong self-understanding through acceptance of their own shadow, and discover a deep connection to their purpose. Her book, Heal Yourself with Color, Harness the Power of Color to Change Your Life, was released in July of 2021. All right. Well, welcome, Walaa. I know I'm probably butchering your name. I want you to say it the way you say it for everybody, because my little Southern accent is just not doing it justice.
Oh, no, don't worry. I'm so used to it. I've been to an American university, and it's a hard Arabic name. So
yes. And it's spelled Walaa. Is that correct?
Yeah, I like to spell it that way.
Okay. And you say it your way. I want everyone to hear it. It's beautiful.
It's Walaa. And it actually means loyalty.
Loyalty. It's beautiful. I love this name. And already I've enjoyed my little pre-chat with you. I can't wait to get this started, because this is something that is a little different in my color wheelhouse. So I've been designing and playing around with color, dabbling in color for really as long as I've been on this planet, I think. But I've really never heard of color therapy. So what is it?
Okay, so color therapy really looks at the frequency of color, how color makes us feel, how color is actually interacting with our subconscious mind. It's not really what we think about it, it's what we feel about it. Color therapy is really something that tells you and teaches you that color is everywhere. Color is, how I like to say it, is a map from the sun to help us understand deep things within us, deep things in our surroundings, so we can live a better life using something as beautiful as color.
Ah, I love that. So how did you get interested in color therapy?
So at the time I was in Japan, I was still studying interior design, and I was working at a Japanese firm in Tokyo. And I was in a really, really bad place, but I was telling myself, it looked on the outside, it looked really good, but I was just going through an inner transformation because I couldn't feel my feelings. I was hiding all the time. I was in black and brown. Specifically, brown was a color that I never really liked, but I used to wear it because it was the only thing that was comfortable. Later, I understood that these colors that I was wearing is because I was hiding. And also the brown represented how stuck I felt.
Oh, that is so interesting.
So I was doing interior design, but it felt like really commercial at the time. And it felt like, I was studying it and it was just drawings and all that, but nobody was teaching me about what I really went to interior design school to learn, which is how can you really make a space support you? So I started learning with my spiritual and inner transformation journey, trying to understand myself and my obsession with color since I was really young.
Right.
And I just found first a training with Latrice Eisman, which is about, color time training, which is about what colors work for your skin but I wanted more. And I was looking, and then I did color therapy as well. And now I've been doing this for the last 9 years.
Wow.
And it's just been amazing.
So how is color therapy different from regular therapy?
Because color therapy is not really, you're sitting down and you're talking to a therapist. It's called color therapy, just like art therapy. But it's just really, it's a holistic approach to therapy.
I see. So then I guess part of what you're saying too is that color affects our moods. Is that sort of,
and I know
the bottom line? Like that's the bottom of all of this, right?
No, yes and no. So colors do affect our moods, but also colors tell us a lot about what's going on inside. So for example, if I'm suddenly attracted to orange or yellow, this is telling me something about what's going on inside of me. What is it my subconscious telling me that I need? There's deeper stuff. Yes, it affects your mood. Yes, some colors will make you eat more. Yes, other colors will help you feel calmer and less anxious. But there's also deeper things about it. And this is what we've been neglecting and taking for granted.
And that is so true. I know in my own experience, like just in the last few days, I've kind of been, my husband has been battling a little melanoma thing. And so we had to go to Charleston for some biopsies and tests and all that stuff. And in the last few days, and I'm normally like decked out in hot pink or magenta or like really strong color. I wear color. I live in color. I work in color. I am not a beige designer, but people can't see me right now, but you can. And I am wearing cream. And I think it's my need for calm.
And neutralizing the situation.
Correct. And it's so interesting because the last few days I've been pulling out like ivory colored sweaters or tops or just things that are kind of void of color. And I think you're right. I think I'm neutralizing like what my approach to all of this is going to be.
Because what you're telling me you're in bright colors, and bright colors are colors that are very outward.
Mm-hmm.
Also, there are colors that give.
Yes.
Okay. And then when you're in beige and ivory, for a person who's constantly giving, you're not completely shutting down and going into black and withdrawing, but you're like okay, I'm not giving as much. Here I am. I'm deflecting because this is how you
Right.
see white.
Right.
Yeah. There's a touch of yellow in it. So it's about like,
Yes.
okay, let me trust in myself. Let me be with myself. And probably you're neutralizing, and also because you want to be with yourself. You don't want to be outwards. And this is what
Yes.
you need right now while this is all happening, to take care of yourself and take care of your husband.
Oh my gosh, this is so like fascinating. That is exactly how I feel. I'm not able to articulate it, or I wasn't until you just said this, but I knew that there were things happening inside of me. And I didn't feel like I had the energy necessarily to put color together even, which is so interesting because this afternoon, I'm really looking forward to laying out a house for a client who the house is very soft color. She loves blues, but she likes soft color mixed back to her blues. And again, I work in all colors, and I'm sure you do too. And sometimes I have to get out of my own head to be able to design for clients for what they need and want.
I know what you mean.
Right. But I thought about this morning when I was making my day plan, I thought, oh, I'm so excited to lay this house out because it's soothing to me. It feels like it's going to be a soothing project and not necessarily a high energy project, just soothing and balanced.
And this is what you need.
Yes,
right
apparently. And I'm interested in working on that, even though I have about 50 projects I need to be working on. But
it's also almost like you're also aligning with it. It's also you chose these neutral colors and you're aligning with it.
Yes, so interesting. So now I want to get back to you, and I want you to kind of help our readers understand, how do people know what colors they should surround themselves with in their homes? How do they know?
I have a process.
Okay.
Some people call me crazy, but I always...
They call me that too. I just go with it.
It's interior designers, right?
Yeah, I just go with it.
So what I do whenever I enter a house, I'll just kind of like touch the walls, and I'll ask and feel out like, what does this house want? And then I will also ask, what colors do you feel represent you? And then I'll go to the clients and ask them, or people around the house, and ask, what is it that you need from this house? And then I'll see which colors kind of match. So I'll combine and see the harmony between what these people need and the house. Because our house, I have a strong belief that our houses choose us.
Yes.
We don't choose them.
Yes.
And this is why it's important to get both of the house chose you because you need something from it, and you're here because you need this. So let's combine these two things and create it. Understanding what you need to surround yourself with. Also, notice what colors you're pulling. Like you see today, you're like, I don't feel like I'm in a place to put my colors out. I want to neutralize. I'm going to go easy today. I'm not going to expand out. I'm going to reserve my energy. And these are the colors you picked.
This is so true.
Color is so intuitive. And I always tell my clients, I even had it in my book, whatever color you feel intuitively, follow it. Because it's, better. Every person, you have a unique relationship with color. I have a unique relationship with color. And this is what I teach people to do, to create their own unique relationship with color versus what somebody tells them this is the color. Because there's a lot of color therapy theories out there. It's like, okay, you're sad, but what's the core of the sadness? Where is this coming from? And which color matches it to get you out of it?
So you could also then say that people could go through different color feelings as they go through different phases in their lives.
Yes, definitely.
So you don't always say, this is my palette because this is the palette I chose. So how do you transition people as a designer? I change my house like all the time. It's my laboratory. And It's like, oh, I don't like this color anymore. I'm into this. But I just kind of accept that as the designer in me. But how do we transition clients who pick these palettes and then they feel like they're stuck in these palettes forever when maybe their life has transitioned or moved on?
Okay, so it's very, very natural and very, very normal and a really, really good sign when you change color and when you're done with a palette. And I usually tell people if you're stuck on a palette, it's either one or two. It's either that you have not learned your lessons and you have not moved in your life, or you're just being asked to keep going deeper and dig even more on whatever you're going through.
Yes.
So changing palettes is very complex because I've found that I keep changing palettes all the time and I change different colors all the time. This is why I still did not color my office. I've been here for a year. Like, I don't know. But I know that inside me, I have like the blue, greens, teals, deep blues, the Benjamin Moore hidden sapphire. These are colors that soothe me so much. And no matter where I go, I always find them.
Yes.
But what I tend to do with clients is I give them the beige base. Or the grayish base. And then with the other things that are cheaper to change,
yes,
I add the colors.
Gotcha.
Flexibility.
Yes.
But especially in terms of walls. But again, the beige, there's so many tones.
100,000 shades.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
And the grays.
Right.
So I like to play around with this. And then the other elements that are cheaper to change, easier to reupholster, etc. And I've learned this because I've changed my house so many times and I had to change couches so many times that now everything is beige outside and I'm playing with the cushions and I'm playing with the accessories and I'm changing those things instead.
Right. And I value that approach. And I think as I've developed over 29 years of design, I probably started out that way, moved into more color on walls specifically, moved back to neutral walls. I've kind of done it a lot of different ways. And in my own aspirations of color in my home, it's kind of interesting. I went through a phase where I was working so much in color and I was churning out. I would have like 40 clients at a time. So my head was just, so I needed to neutralize everything. And it was right when the white phase just started where everybody was doing white. Everything was white.
Now what's behind me is white and I'm like going crazy.
Yes. And so I went through this white phase and everything in my house was white. And I felt like I didn't live here. And because I didn't, because it wasn't me, it was on trend. And I was desperately trying to get out of color because I was working in color almost too much.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. So I did start to add color back into my house, but not in walls necessarily, but in bolder statements like cobalt blue sofa, cobalt blue drapery. But then I needed soft. So I added lilac on top of that. And it just ended up being like my favorite palette I have ever had. And I think part of that is my house is saying to me, you are comfortable in your own skin, baby. Like, you love lilac. You were just afraid to admit it. So put it in your world and enjoy it. Right.
You have it right. Yeah.
Which I think is kind of, and I say this not to talk about my house, but I think that in some ways between the two of us, it helps put color a little bit in perspective for the listener, because sometimes I have clients who need color on the wall. They just need it.
Listen, I need color on the wall and I need deep, dark.
Yes.
These just give me so much peace and I love them. I told you, hidden sapphire.
Yes. So, great color too.
Just love it. And for a lot of people, especially people I've worked with, it's just really hard to do.
Yes. Well, people get scared, don't you think? They see that saturation of color and it's like, oh my God, what if I make a mistake? What if I choose the wrong color? What if this? What if that? When in fact, I think this is interesting. I'm going to say it and I'd love to hear your response, but I think color is relative to other colors. Like you can put a bold color on a wall, but you can turn that volume way, way down should you need to, or
Yes.
you can escalate it should you need to, right?
Yes. When we're looking at a color, and whenever I tell people yellow, all they think about is, that bright yellow there. I mean, it's like, no, there's not only this yellow, there's mustard yellow. There's so many different types
so many
yellow.
shades.
Shades, yes. And there's so many. And you can make yellow really calming. You can make it.
Yes.
My favorite baby rooms are pastel yellows,
Yes.
I find that really just gorgeous and amazing. And it's just, and then also with I had a hidden sapphire wall in my old apartment, and I've matched it with bright yellow, and I've matched it with neutrals, and that just changed the whole thing. And
sure.
People need to learn to get comfortable with color. I like to, because I have clients and people come to me, cannot even get out of a black uniform.
Yes.
I could let's start with an accessory.
Yes, please. Right.
And this is how I do it with their houses. It's like, okay, let's start with an accessory.
Yes.
And then let's go.
Yes. I read on your website about color magics. Tell us about color magics. What does that mean?
Where in my website did you read it?
I thought that I did because I made notes about it, but maybe I'm wrong. I read several things that were curious to me. One was color magic.
Okay. So when I talk about color magic, I mean the magical effects of color.
Gotcha.
How in using these magical effects of color in our everyday life, in our clothing, in our environment, and just even just entering a restaurant. From the moment you enter a restaurant, you're going to eat good food or not even if the good food is good or bad.
So true.
From the feeling and the colors of the interior.
So true.
You meet somebody and you're going to vibe with them or not as soon as you see their colors.
Yes. And if we could just give people a shot that says wear color comfortably or be in color comfortably, then we probably would get very, very wealthy. If we could just create that shot.
And it's just such a magical thing when people are able to start creating their conversations with color and be like, okay, today I feel like crap and I want to wear black, but I need to uplift myself. So I'm going to wear maybe black pants and an uplifting pink or a yellow just to balance it out. I want people, I really love people to learn to have this magical conversation with color. So
speaking of black, like I don't hardly have any black. It's just not a color for me. And I started this little theory years ago, and I believe in it, but it's my own theory. And it is that all color is neutral. And I say this thing because I sort of feel like that why is sapphire blue not a neutral? Because it goes with 4 or more colors and you can pair it up, you can pair it down, just as we talked about a minute ago. Would you buy into that? Could all color be neutral?
So as soon as you said that, the first thing that came into my mind is that every color has a shadow aspect and a light aspect to it. Okay, what in terms of also how we feel it and how we perceive it. So yes, I definitely agree with you. We can be neutral towards a color, but also a color can trigger things in us that need to be looked at and worked on, like our shadow. Especially if you hate a color, you need to look at that color and see what it brings up for you. And if you love a color, what more of this aspect could you bring into your life to neutralize it and bring it in? So this is what I think of when you told me that. Definitely.
I like that. I like that a lot because I'm not particularly drawn to black, but I can tell you exactly why. And for me, I'm not drawn to black because it's a color that it's not unusual. It's everywhere. And I like unusual color combinations.
Yes.
And there's a certain aspect of depression that goes with black for me, even though I sort of feel that it can be very elegant on other people. I just feel like it's more of a depressed color, a hold me back color, and versus a get out there and get it color.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm cutting you off.
No, go for it.
Would you classify yourself as extrovert?
Yes.
Yeah. So from the colors you told me from the beginning, so you're an extrovert. So extroverts, their energy, their feelings, their emotions are hindered by black, because black is a color that takes you inward and takes you in, takes your energy in. This is why when you're sad, I tell people, I know you want to wear black because you want to go in, you want to hide, but go wear white so you can open up and release instead. Yeah?
Yes.
That's why for you there is a depressive aspect, because for you going inward and being alone is something that's not soothing for you.
Yes.
For me, I love black and I enjoy black because I am an introvert, extrovert. I go from here to there.
Right.
And my introvert loves black because I like to go inward. But too much black will make me depressed. Too much of any color is not good.
That's a good point.
So it's all about balancing out and moving and allowing the colors and everything to move. So it makes total sense to me that you think that of black. Like, I'm not
so funny. So is this, in essence, tell us what a color reading is. Is this kind of what you do in a color reading, what we were just sort of doing there?
It's a part of it. But with the color reading is something that I work on and do is like teach people about their color archetypes. So when I'm working with color, I'm not only working on it in the physical realm, I'm also working on it from an energetic point of view, from a spiritual point of view. So a color reading will tell you what the day you were born, the color you came in here with. The month you were born will represent the color you came here to challenge yourself with to develop this personality that you have. And it tells you the combination of who you are, where you're at. It's a very intuitive session. I love giving it, and people just take so much out of it. They understand so much about themselves and how they relate to color and how their color energetically affects their lives and why they feel this a certain way towards colors or not. So it's a beautiful session, and sometimes I do a healing in that session as well.
So what is it? Is it applicable at all to astrological stuff too? Does that play into it?
It's a different approach. So I like to say they're all different doors to the same room, but some people like me and you are very visual and we love color, and color speaks to our soul. Speaks to us in a way that other things don't speak to us. So yeah.
So sometimes when I start with a client, I start with, tell me colors that you don't like. And it's kind of an interesting reaction, because I think if I've really warmed a client up well enough, I've asked a series of questions to try to figure out where I'm going with this. Part of what I do is I give people a design DNA test. And that means that I'm really trying to figure out who they are, so I can design a space that is for them, not me. I'm trying really hard to take me out of the equation. Yeah. And so part of this is, what colors do you not like? And it's sort of interesting if people are still trying to, or they're not quite settled into this whole, like this part of the process, they'll say, oh, I like all color. Yeah. But inevitably, towards the end of this, they'll come back to, I really hate red, or my husband hates pink, or whatever. And to me, it doesn't matter, because I'm not telling you what I like or don't like. I'm trying to find out what you can't tolerate, or what you love. And so that I can design a space for you that resonates. I'm not going to be here. I might come back and have a glass of wine with you here and there, but I'm not going to live here. This is more about you. Yeah. So what does it mean when clients say, or people say, I have an aversion to a color?
Okay, I love this, because I always ask people, what color do you hate? Mm-hmm. And then the word hate, they'll go like, it's too much. And it's because I'm poking at their emotions.
Okay.
Color is an emotional expression. So I always say the colors you hate the most are the colors you need the most. So when people don't like a color, it's about, they don't like these aspects about the color. And then it's also even more interesting when people say, I like a color on other people, I don't like it on myself.
Yes.
That was the classic.
Yes.
And when people say this to me, I'm like, so this means, for example, someone will be like, oh, I love blue on other people. I don't like it on myself. I'm like, so you like people to be honest and loyal and trustworthy, but you don't think you can be that.
Oh.
And so it's really revealing about what you like in people. And when someone's looking for a partner, I'll be like, okay, so what are your favorite things about men or women? Depends on what partner.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm like, so what's your favorite thing in when a man dresses like that, or when a woman dresses, what are your favorite colors? And I'll tell them, oh, so you want a man or a woman that's like this, this, this.
Right.
And it's just so beautiful and subconscious. So, and people tend to not want to tell you about the colors they don't like because they don't want to go into the things they don't like.
Mm-hmm.
Because when someone comes to me and is like, I hate red, they're telling you, I hate forward people. Or I hate people who are, outspoken about what they want or don't.
Right. So interesting. This to me is so much further than the psychology of color. Like, you and I both had classes on psychology of color ad nauseum. And
like so disappointed in those classes.
Right. Me too. And anytime somebody starts talking to me about color theory, I start glazing over. And as I'm also an artist, and the minute that some art teacher starts pulling out color theory, I'm like, I got to go.
Yeah, like, bye.
I'm not into this today because it's very textbooky and very rudimentary. And that is and you're saying it so beautifully, that is so not what color is. It's not textbooky. It is so emotional, and it is such a feeling, and it conjures up so many feelings. It wards off so many feelings. It's like your emotional pipeline in an odd way. And of course, if I say this to clients, they will look at me like I have 9 heads, I think, in some ways. What did you take on the way over here? But
it's like, I have some of that. But it's like, but the thing is, when you tell people, listen, this is what people get shocked and look at me like this. I mean, colors actually don't exist. It's your brain's translation to different wavelengths of light.
Yes. Yes. Okay.
So your attraction to a color is deeper than that because you're actually attracted to something your brain translated to this. So you're attracted to the wavelength of it. You're attracted to the frequency of it. And that has so much to say to you in terms of thoughts, emotions, patterns, all of that. That's one aspect. And also to see color, I'm so bad at the scientific names in English because I studied everything in Arabic, but I'm going to give it a shot. So whenever the light falls on your eye, the same pathways that we get emotions from in the brain are the ones that we also see and translate color through. So this is why I love this thing online when people go, men see red, blue, and then women see magenta, pink, rose pink, red, etc.
Yes.
And like women have a bigger spectrum. And like this is exactly what the world taught both of them to be. So the woman is able to see through all her emotional spectrums. She can see different levels of emotions. Anger is not only anger. Anger can be frustration. It can be a resentment. It can also be layers. There's so many different ways.
Yes.
But men see anger as anger.
Yes.
Because that's what they're taught to do. So the more emotionally expanded we are, the more colors we see. Colors you connect to.
Sure. It's kind of like, as an artist, we do values in color, and you go from a 0 to a 10 on a grayscale. And boy, I'm sounding very color theory right now, but as you do it, but it's kind of similar. And I do find that women tolerate those variances, just as you were saying, and see them far more clearly, where men are so like ink.
Yeah.
And I think that's interesting. Another thing I found interesting over the years, and I don't know if you have, and this again is my own little like thing I've observed.
I'm loving them
with clients. So I've noticed that with men, if I introduce blue, shades of blue as a color, I don't think I've ever had a man who didn't like blue. And I don't know what that's all about. I've just noticed it. And it's kind of a safe thing I can suggest, especially when I can't quite get enough information out of a man. Sometimes, you know how men will come in and they're like, they have to get back to their jobs and they don't really care. They're just trying to make their wife happy in this house and like just whatever she wants, I want. They don't have a huge opinion, but I still want to make him happy. I want him to love his home. And it goes deeper than she loves the home. It's more than that. So for me, I really try, but sometimes when I can't get on first base, I'll throw blue out there, and blue is typically, well, has always been a like for men. Have you ever noticed that?
So I have a theory about that.
Okay.
My own.
Got it. Okay.
Blue is one of the colors energetically that are about expression and authentic expression. And I believe that other than, men are supposed to be trustworthy, loyal, that I'm changing my voice because trying to show.
I got you.
Okay. There's also a strong need for men to learn to express. So men are comfortable with blue because of the programming, but also underneath it is that calling of let's express. Let's feel safe to express. This is my theory about it.
I can buy that all day long. That's a great theory. I've often wondered, but it's just one of those little things in my tool belt that I pull up from time to time. And I find this interesting. Most men will say that they don't want pink in their homes. They don't always say they don't like pink, but they'll say, I don't want pink in my home. What is that all about?
I don't want the house to be girly and soft. I cannot be.
Yes.
Pink is a color that tells us, let's be soft, let's be compassionate, let's connect on purity and love. It's a very bubbly.
So kind of vulnerable even.
Yes.
And
kind
of vulnerable.
Is taught not to be that.
Yes.
So
of course. Sad because they look so good in pink. All men look great in pink, right? So, and then I find the biggest color aversion I get from people when I ask that, what colors do you not like question? I get purple. Why?
That's very funny because I think it's like purple is a very creative color, but it's a dreamy color. It's not solid. And when it's in a home, people want their home to feel solid. People want their home to feel grounded. And usually purples are colors that, dreamy, all about conceptual and etc. And it's hard for people to feel grounded around them.
Yes. Okay. That's
specific personalities like purple, and they either like it and have it all over the place.
Yes.
Or
yes. I've had a client that literally she loved purple so much that she really asked me if I could find a purple mattress. And this was before that even existed. Like it was really important to her. And so she loved purple, everything. And I do tend to find that people that love purple, they embrace it 100%.
And they usually like to be in their own world.
Yes.
They're usually people, especially the violet purple, especially the purple that I'm kind of waiting, but I'm
yes.
differently now because of the camera, and the lighting. But it's a purple where people just want to escape reality. And
sure.
Else. It's a very interesting color that I
think so too. Yes. And so I found this on your website and I need clarification. What does it mean? I think this was in a blog post. What does gaslighting mean?
Oh, gaslighting.
Yes.
Okay. Because it's like so gaslighting is when you're in a toxic relationship.
Okay.
And somebody, whether it's a friendship, a lovely relationship, etc., where you'll say, this is how I feel, and somebody will put you down and make you feel like you're crazy or make you invalidate you. This is the best, shortest way. There's so much in it. And the blog post that you saw is about how us women do that to ourselves a lot.
Yes.
We invalidate our own dreams. We invalidate our own desires and our own thinking and our own wants, and just accept what society told us that we should have instead of following our wild dreams.
Yes. Yes. So good. So good. And I can see how you can relate that back to color in so many ways. And it's kind of like I said earlier in this episode, when I've had so many color schemes in my home, I've had second homes and had color schemes in those. I've had just various things. And of course, I've worked in about every color scheme you can possibly work in. But in my home currently, I love my colors and my color scheme and the way my house envelops me. I love it. And I think it's because, contrary to gaslighting, I am comfortable in my own skin, and I'm comfortable that I am done with letting that happen to me. And I'm done with, like, this is me. And if you love it, great. If you don't, I'm okay with that. It doesn't matter to me. I love it. And that's what matters to me. And my family is comfortable. So to me, that is like, it's next level. It just is. And then you can enjoy whatever colors you really enjoy.
Yeah. And it's just allowing yourself to explore all the different colors and all the different spectrum of colors and finding yourself.
Yes.
It's like, how can you find your favorite type of ice cream? You have to, like, try a lot of them and explore.
Yes, we do.
Ice cream.
I could use some right now. So another thing that I read about you is about a spirit spa. So what is a spirit spa?
It's funny because I've been working on this all day today.
Fun.
Because I'm updating the videos and updating everything. So it's an online course that will help people start on the colors that I feel people neglect working with, because people like to focus on the colors that take them out of the world, out of here, and take them out of reality and go somewhere else. But these are colors that will help you ground, help you deal with your emotions, help you release. And it's a 10-day course, so you can begin your relationship with color from a meditation, visualization point of view. There are different videos with explanations of each color means and what we're doing with that color. It comes with a workbook with questions about each color, what you're going to trigger, and then like a meditation with sound, crystal bowls. So I've done it all. Hopefully it'll be updated, the new videos, better sound and everything in the next couple of days, actually.
Oh, how fun. That sounds so fascinating. So how does someone work with you?
So first thing, they can get a color reading, work on understanding their color archetypes. They could do spirit spa. And then at the end, I also do one-on-one sessions, and we work on, it's mentoring. It's working on how colors can help you change your life while delving deep into your subconscious.
Okay. And so where do people find you?
On my website, color-ways.com, or Instagram, Walaa, WALAA.colorways.
Got it. Okay. So are there things that I didn't share about your message today that you want to add or interject that I didn't really touch on?
I'm thinking. There's always something to say about color, but yeah.
This is so true. Yes, but I feel like you and I could converse for 3 more hours just about the various colors and how we relate to them, because I so agree with you. I love this work that you're doing, because this is like color 7.0. This is not color 1.0. This is so many steps further, and yet it's reachable all at the same time. This is something that I feel like I've just seen over the years, how clients will settle for colors sometimes, or a color palette that they've seen 1,000 times on Pinterest, because they're afraid. They don't know where to go with color. It's part of why they come to me to begin with, is because they want me to hold their hand and to make sure that they're going to be okay with whatever color palette that either I suggest or that they are able to tap into. And this is important work, because color does affect our lives. And I know you think it and feel it in your spirit, and I do as well. I just don't articulate it as well as you do. So my hat is off. I champion the work that you're doing, and I encourage everyone, check this out, this is a whole nother level. It's next level of how you can have some feeling that I have right now of when I walk into my home, I feel like my home loves me and I love it, but it loves me back. And that is special. It's just special. Don't you think?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So now with that, it just, yes. And I'm sure you've felt that way many times. And I know when I create spaces for people and I go back, maybe I go back 6 months later and they'll have me over or we're going to do another project or whatever. When I leave, I typically it's almost as if I get it out of my head because again, I don't live there. I just kind of do it, photograph it and forget it and move on to the next thing. But I have often had these feelings when I go back into someone's home that is hard for me to explain, but my heart is full. And it's full because I know that not necessarily that the work is so beautiful, it's that the work is meaningful to my client, that my client is really relating to their spaces because we did the due diligence, we did the design DNA, but the colors I left with them, even if it's white, you and I both know there's 155 shades of white in the Benjamin Moore palette alone. Even if it's white, it's layers of, it's meaningful. There's stuff down in there that is worth the investigation and it's worth what that client is, how it's resonating with them. So I think that that's what I want to impart about this lesson today. You have given us so much. I am so happy about this conversation and where it went and how you express color. It's beautiful. But I do have a couple of signature questions that I ask. And so the first is, what is the one defining element that you think is most important in the design mix?
Color.
I figured you'd say that, but I agree with you.
Yeah, color is pretty defining.
Pretty defining. And I think, you can't really be without it. Even in white, you're still not without color.
You need it. People will put plants and say, I don't have
sure. For sure. Now, this is a fun question. So, and I hope you think it's fun, but I think it's fun. So what would your hashtag on your tombstone be?
Ooh, whoa. I needed to think about that. What
yes.
would my hashtag be?
Yeah, it's probably something.
My hashtag with color. Yeah, it'll probably be live your all your colors, or live in your
hashtag live your color.
Colors, yeah.
I love it. I love it. So, what's your top tip for being a design boss?
Top tip to being a design boss: use your intuition. Use your intuition in this space, and and trust it. It's usually that first color, it's that first element, it's that first knowing.
Yes.
Before you get in your
I love that. I so love that. Well, Walaa, I appreciate you being here so much. This was so very insightful and fun, and you're adorable. I wish that everybody could see how colorful you are in person, but if not, you can certainly, or since you can't, you can certainly check her out on her website. Her website is fascinating, full of good information. I love your Instagram. It's beautiful. So I encourage everyone to check this out and enjoy the process. And hey, everybody go and get a color reading or participate in Spirit Spa. I know that's going to be really fun. So there you have it. This is it for this episode. Thank you, Walaa. This was really an amazing conversation. And to you, my lovely listeners, I hope you found this insightful. Please leave us some comments and or a review, and be sure to click subscribe. So I'll be back next week. And as I like to say, don't wait. Today is a great day to decorate. Bye for now.
Thanks for listening to Decorate Like a Design Boss. If you want more info on how to decorate your space like a pro, visit KimberlyGreggDesigns.com. See you next week.